So yesterday, Recraft launched Recraft V4. Recraft are one of the old school, kind of earliest movers in the AI image generation scene. They've been around a while. They were one of the first to offer like a decent AI image model, but they were kind of quickly surpassed by DALI and GPT and then Nano Banana and stuff like that. But anyway, they've launched their new version this week, Recraft V4, and it's actually pretty good. You can read about it on their site, read all about how it compares, and especially they're kind of pushing it as a kind of fashion photography model. You can see the difference here. They've got differences between Recraft V4 versus Nano Banana Pro, which is kind of the best of the best models right now, although they've got GPT here as well comparing against. So yeah, you can go and have a read of that. It's very interesting, but let's just put it to the test here inside Ideally. We'll try it out. Let's do our typical told you so design. Let's give this a refresh because it didn't work off the bat. We will hit reuse data and let's look for, we should find here somewhere Recraft V4. There it is. So we'll do a retro style and yeah, let's just see how it does with that. So this is Recraft V4. This is now live inside Ideally alongside all the other main models that we have, of course, Nano Banana Pro, GPT 1.5, Ideogram, all the models that you can use here inside Ideally. So Recraft V4 is here, and I've been playing around with it a little bit. It's only been out like a day or two, and this is what it gives us for a retro style t-shirt. So interesting, certainly different is what I would say, and this is coming through in what actually what Recraft are kind of saying about their model or how they're positioning it. They're kind of saying this is a I'm just going to select a few versions here so we can try it out. They're saying this is a more artistic, creative model than some of the others. And you can see this in some of their comparisons. Like here, theirs is on the left. And particularly for kind of illustration work, they're pushing it as a creative, more designery, like an AI for designers, rather than Nano Banana or GPT for the layman, if you like. And that certainly does kind of come across. So initial thoughts on this are Recraft V4 is definitely a thinking model. It's obviously doing some of that extra thinking that like Nano Banana Pro and GPT 1.5 do. That is, it's not just spitting out an image like the early models did. It's actually kind of adding details or thinking about things. It's expanding your prompt. And it does tend to take a more kind of artistic-y, creative... I know those words aren't particularly useful, but a kind of, certainly a different approach. And just to kind of... I'll just let this load the last one here. I'll just show you a few of these in detail. So these are the kind of vintage retro vibe ones. Then we've got this one, which is kind of a more, well, this is our simple t-shirt design is what we call it. And then this is a kind of metal one, a kind of vacation, holiday, beach vibe, and then an outdoorsy vibe. So just to kind of show you how this compares, let's take this outdoors one and do that in Nano Banana and GPT-1, and we'll do that. And yeah, what I'm seeing is I think it's a useful addition to your toolset because it is different, and that's really useful, especially if you're an artist designer, you're looking for variety. What you'll find in the big models, in your Nano Bananas and your GPT 1.5s, you very quickly see that everything kind of looks pretty much the same, kind of again and again, you're getting the same kind of outputs given the same kind of prompt, which is fine, And I think what Recraft is really showing us is that as AI models get better and as things develop, what we're actually seeing is not like one model to rule them all, but instead we're seeing that all of these models are going to have their different kind of use cases and different leanings, and they might be good for this style but not so great at that style. And that's what we're seeing. It's not necessarily that there's going to be one model which is really good at doing everything that you want it to do. It's really good at an outdoorsy style and really good at a beach style and really good at a metal style. It's that you're probably going to be finding that you want to use this model for that and that model for that. So this is done, again, like looking at these outdoor ones, it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of, these ones it's given a kind of intricate illustration style, which is still quite vectory. It looks kind of hand-drawn-y, but it's still very kind of vectorized looking, which is very different to, for example, here's Nano Banana Pro, which is giving a very much less of a vector style, more of a rough around the edges kind of, I don't really want to say clip arty style, but that is a little bit more what you get with Nano Banana. And then this is GPT 1.5, and again, this is going from like raster, slightly less raster, all the way to vector. You can kind of see the three different approaches here with these ones. So I think this is interesting because it does give, this is obviously messed up here with the boots and stuff, but looking at the style rather than picking out faults in it particularly, I think it's useful. I think it's useful to try a model like this alongside some of the other options because you're going to get something different. I particularly like, I don't know really, let's just regenerate this image, and like I don't know why particularly with the vintage sunset style that it's necessarily gone this way, but this is a way that's quite different from okay, that's different again, but let's just try this with Nano Banana and GPT 1.5 so we can just kind of compare. And I think what you'll see is, you're getting, like, it's doing different color schemes every time, which is quite interesting. I think you're very hard pressed to get GPT 1.5 or Nano Banana Pro to give you a different color scheme given the same prompts. Like, if you ask GPT 1.5 to give you another outdoorsy prompt like this one, you're going to get back the same colors, the same style repeatedly. And the interesting thing about Recraft is, as you can see here, this is Recraft. It's given you different colors. Every time we've done this vintage beach style, it's given us a very different image each time. So it depends if that's your use case, if that's what you're looking for, but I think that's pretty fun, useful. It's gone for similar fonts here, but again, very different colors, very different layouts, which is quite different from what you're going to get if you ask Nano Banana Pro or GPT 1.5. You're going to get the same kind of, response back each time. Not exactly the same, but pretty closely identical, and you can quite quickly see, oh, that's obviously Nano Banana, or that's obviously GPT 1.5. And yeah, obviously, as you get to know the models, I can immediately tell this to be a Nano Banana image. There's a certain kind of illustration style. It's kind of a bit cartoony. It's not as, illustrative, creative, vectory. Same with GPT. You can kind of recognize the style now. It becomes a bit obvious. That's not a bad thing in and of itself, and especially when you're using it here in Ideally for inspiration, it's fine. But yeah, I'm quite excited by this new model. I think it's good. I think it's useful, especially if you're looking to do more, you're trying to get like different variations on something. So, okay, that's Nano Banana. That's not typical Nano Banana style, so that's kind of proving me wrong a little bit. But yeah, if you're trying to get like, you want a few different variations on a theme, you want to see some different color schemes, you want to see some different layout ideas and different font ideas. And also, like, these are really good these Recraft outputs, almost all of them are really quite nice for vectorizing, so you can scale them a lot easier. You know, if you try and take something like this from GPT 1.5 and vectorize it, it's not going to be a great output. It's not going to be fantastic. But if you take this, vectorize it, that's great. That's going to be infinitely scalable, and you can use that wherever. So yeah, I'm liking this Recraft V4. Again, that's available here inside Ideally, alongside all the other models. You can try and compare and use them all at the same time and see what kind of outputs you get back. And of course, you can then upscale it, vectorize it, remove the background, all the things you need to do to get it usable, should you want to proceed with that. And it also is pretty cool at doing these cute little kind of characters. I know I've only given it frogs to work with. There's a couple of little errors here, but nothing too major. But yeah, it does cute kind of hand-drawn-y looking, but still vector, still professional looking outputs. And yeah, I think it's pretty fun. So have a play around with Recraft V4. Let me know what you think. It's now live inside Ideally.